in our presentation. We're going to be talking about BitClub Network. Now, folks, BitClub Network has to do with Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Bitcoin is. We're going to talk a little bit about what Bitcoin mining is. And then, folks, we're going to show you why we believe this is a perfect opportunity for somebody to get started in a business that can pay you over and over and over and over again perpetually with a one-time out-of-pocket that you actually use to become a Bitcoin miner. So Bitcoin, folks, you know, a lot of people have heard of it but don't quite understand it. It's a cryptocurrency. And digital currency or cryptocurrency, those two terms are interchangeable. They have to be decentralized, not controlled by any government or institution. It's not something that is private. It's completely decentralized. And Bitcoin is sent using the internet directly from person to person with no bank or middleman. Bitcoin is a fast, safe, and anonymous way to send money, and just about anybody can have a Bitcoin account. So a lot of benefits here, folks. But one of the biggest ones in business is that there's no fees, no chargebacks, and no borders. So this is huge because as we move through this presentation, you're going to see how the global remittance industry is one of the industries that more, targetedly we could have Bitcoin really replace a lot of the mechanisms that are in place right now for many, many years and actually allow us to make some incredible profits. So who uses Bitcoin? Well, just about everybody. In fact, you see Dell, Expedia, Gift. Gift is a company where you could buy different gift cards. They offer cashback rewards if you buy in Bitcoin, and you can just basically live off of Bitcoin. It's accepted everywhere in the world. And it's quickly really replacing fiat currency. Over 150,000 businesses in the U.S. and estimated 750,000 worldwide. There's no refunds, chargebacks, or fees to accept Bitcoin. So this is a powerful, powerful method to actually accept payment and transact using Bitcoin. Now, just as the internet, folks, when it first came out, it was a new technology, and a lot of people said, well, I was at a presentation one time. My business partner was talking about this, how there were people that when the internet was coming out, they didn't realize that it was going to affect the advertising industry in the way that it did, newspapers and just in the way that we used to access information, whereas now we can access that information directly from the internet. It's amazing. And so I'll give you a couple examples. I mean, how many people here still buy newspapers or subscribe to a newspaper that's delivered into your home? A lot of the subscriptions that we have with magazines, now they have digital online versions of it. Why? Because it's cheaper, faster, more efficient way to actually, exchange information. Faxes basically have gone away. Now you can do e-signatures on documentation, and there's apps to do all those types of things. So just in the way we exchange information has changed over the years. Doing seminars and one-on-ones and meeting people at coffee shops to do a presentation, you don't have to do that anymore. Right now, we're actually collapsing time frames and are able to do this presentation right from the comfort of my computer, whereas we're targeting people all over the world. So this is a very, very powerful model using the internet for this case. And so nobody here can argue that the internet, we don't understand really how it all works, right? But we do understand that we can make money with it. We do, we have Facebook, we have Yahoo, we have AOL, Google. A lot of us just live on the internet, don't fully understand it, but we can't deny that fortunes have been made with the internet. And so when you add to that the power of the internet, and you add to that now we're tapping into the financial world that uses the internet, and it does it in a way that's unhackable. Well, if we just look at the global remittance fees, which are 54 billion, versus just using Bitcoin, which is about 5 billion, and this is sending and receiving money. So there's all these companies like PayPal, Western Union, MoneyGram, Bank of America, Citibank, doing wires and transfers and all these types of things. A very necessary thing, but when you stop and really think about it, they charge so much for these fees. And this is where my story kind of starts with Bitcoin, because I've known about the BitClub network for many years, not many years, but almost 2 years. And I was probably one of the very first first people that were contacted for BitClub Network. I knew about it from day one, but I decided to pass. And one, I wasn't that familiar with Bitcoin at the time, and so when a confused mind says no. And that's kind of what my story was when I first started looking at it. Plus, there's a lot of companies out there claiming that they're cryptocurrency or claiming that they're actually mining Bitcoin, but it's not verifiable, it's not documented, it's just kind of smoke and mirrors. So just kind of wanted to stay away from all that. But what really caught my attention was the remittance fees, because I have customers all over the world that buy a software that I have, a software that teaches people how to trade, and I actually have an auto trader that people purchase. And so, if you don't understand how merchant accounts work domestically and internationally, when you're a new company, which I was a little over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, setting up merchant accounts, domestic and international, can pose, a challenge for a small business operation. So I started to look into Bitcoin. Somebody told me, hey, why don't you just take Bitcoin? I said, well, how do I do that? And then they explained it. I had some questions about the fluctuation in the currency and how would that affect my prices and this and that. And I found out that accepting payment in Bitcoin is so simple. They send it to you, you accept it, and it's instantaneous. Then in 24 hours, I have my business is approved for $100,000 a day in Bitcoin transactions. Now, I don't do that kind of volume, but I do take payments from all over the world: Europe, Central and South America, Mexico, um, uh, um, all over Spain and Europe and just about everywhere, China. We have customers all over, and we can now accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, and then turn it into whatever currency we want within 24 hours, tie it into our bank account. That's kind of how we've been doing it. But now that I realize that it's a real currency and it has real value and people use it as a payment mechanism, it really opened up my mind to take a look a second time at BitClub Network, and so we did. And I don't know if Bishop, are you back on? Are you with us here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Is there anything that you'd like to add to what I just said in terms of, how we took a real second look? Because I know that you were one of the and for those of you that do not know Bishop, Bishop is my business partner. This is one of the probably most professional, successful entrepreneurs that I know, and I'm very honored that not only is he, well-respected entrepreneur in the industry, both online and offline, but he's also my friend and my brother in Christ, and I really enjoy, us working together. And we had both looked at this, so, if you could just kind of add a little bit about your story and your take on this and why we actually gave it a second look, I'd really appreciate it, Bishop.
Yeah, absolutely. When Joe first contacted me 18 months ago, when they were just getting going with this, I was tied up with so many other projects, and the model hadn't really proven itself. Now I knew about Bitcoin, I was excited somewhat about Bitcoin, but didn't really know the solid vehicle to leverage to be able to really get into the Bitcoin industry and take part of what was happening with Bitcoin. And now that the model has proven itself, Joe contacted us again. We took a really hard look at this, and to see that they are a proven model, a proven company, as you're going to see here shortly, as we start showing the blockchain, etc. We are absolutely 1000% excited, because I know that there's a revolution that is happening right now, and people are becoming multimillionaires and billionaires faster than ever before in history, because they're leveraging technology, they're leveraging the internet, and they're leveraging all these futuristic, so to speak, things that are coming into place. And in business, you want to be a friend of the trend. And right now, cryptocurrency is going to be the mainstream, just like the internet is, just like social media. And it's funny, Danny, I remember I was telling Ruth last night about when my father first saw the internet and the home computer. He's like, "Oh, this is never going to take off." Those were his exact words. This is never going to take off. And so we see now that everyone is using it, and the same thing is going to happen for cryptocurrency. So we are going to run with this 100%, and we're very excited to be a part of something at this positioning. Is just absolutely doesn't happen often. Let's just say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, when you look at all these like major companies that invest that are heavily invested in millions and millions of dollars into Bitcoin technology, even Bank of America has already thrown its hat into the ring of Bitcoin. And here's the thing, guys: we all have opportunities that come our way, and there's a lot of good ones out there. And then there's some that are really life changing, life altering. You could just kind of go with the flow, right? And push water down river, or you can change the course of the river. And that's what the smart money, that's what the most intelligent and wise people and all the biggest money is already in Bitcoin and invested in how to create these wallets that actually take and receive Bitcoin all over the world. And so this is already happening, folks. And one of the things is, you could make a killing before mass adoption, right? When it's already self-evident, when the technology is already self-evident, nobody would challenge right now that cell phones are a big success. Anybody that's anywhere between the ages of 16 and 95 can have a phone. If the only people that don't have a phone is like, if you're, just a child. And even there's children out there that have cell phones now. But I mean, maybe if you're like 5 years old, you don't have a cell phone, right? And if you're 95, you probably don't want one. You probably don't want to hear from anybody or whatever. Or you're probably not alive and can't get one. So, but just about anybody. So the market penetration's already happened. But would you agree that the people that were the early adopters and became the providers of that technology, where are those people today? And so that's the exact same thing that's happening here with Bitcoin. Now here, one of the things that you're going to see right here is the scarcity and why this is set up in such a way that, all the experts are saying that the only way Bitcoin has is to go higher and higher and higher. And here's a couple of reasons why. Every 10 minutes, new Bitcoins are released to miners as a reward. Now, when I use the word miner, folks, this is in the virtual world, okay? These aren't physical mines. We're not going underneath the ground. We're not, this isn't that. These are supercomputers that have to figure out complex mathematical problems in order to produce Bitcoin. Now, there's a finite number of Bitcoins that are going to be mined, which is 21 million, and that's it. Now, they're divisible, right? Because that's not enough coins for the whole world, but these are divisible. Just like a dollar, you could break up a dollar into 100 parts, right? So if you had a physical dollar and you wanted to break it up into as many pieces as you can, well, you would have pennies, right? $1 breaks down into 100 pennies. But if you took a penny and cut it in half, that penny no longer has value, right? It would have, you can't transact with it, right? It's not divisible anymore. Now, that's here in Bitcoin. Each one of these Bitcoins is, Bishop, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 100 million. It's divisible by 100 million, each one of these
Correct.
Bitcoins.
Hmm.
So that puts you into the hundreds of trillions of dollars or actually Bitcoin value. So that's huge, guys, and that's how that works. But what that happens is it only drives the price of this up because of the scarcity. So when Satoshi Nakamoto, who launched the Bitcoin protocol in 2009, when you actually mined and solved these complex mathematical equations, you would get rewarded 50 Bitcoin. Then it went through a halving period after 4 years. And now, which is in the halving period that we're in, it's 25 Bitcoins every time you get rewarded with Bitcoin. We're poised for another halving in July of 2016. So right now, one Bitcoin is worth about $400, $420. The first transaction that set precedence was this Papa John pizzas that were purchased for $25, which actually they sold it with 10,000 Bitcoins, $25. And today's value actually would be 4 million. It actually would be more because when this slide was actually done, Bitcoin was around 260. Right now I haven't really checked it today, but yesterday was around 420, somewhere around there. And so this is huge, folks, because right now whoever spent those 10,000 is probably kicking themselves in the, because right now the value of that is huge. So We talked a little bit about that, about the difficulty of what happens with these mathematical equations, and they're just going up, 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 and up. So when you're mining Bitcoin, you have to have the fastest, the greatest, the most efficient equipment in order to profitably mine Bitcoin. And so you want to make sure that you have the latest and greatest, because there is a failure rate in terms of mining power. And you also want to have the facilities that would actually be able to climate control, because these things tend to get very hot. It used to be that you could actually do this on your PC. Back when it first started, you could do it on your laptop. You could mine for Bitcoin. But as to hold the integrity of each Bitcoin, the mathematical equations have gotten harder and harder and harder. So now you have to have supercomputers in order to do that. So as the daily transactions of Bitcoin increase, you can see how the fluctuation of the activity in terms of transactions has been going up, 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 up. So it's been steadily increasing. This isn't talking about the value. This is talking about the number of transactions that are happening from a day to day. So the only way this is going, if you look at this, is in the upward direction. Now, this is what Bishop was talking about a little bit earlier, which is the blockchain info. Now, we could go directly to the blockchain right now and take a look at where BitClub Network. Let me explain to you what we're showing you here. When you go to blockchain info, this is kind of like the what governs and gives you all the information of what is going on in Bitcoin, and who mines it and who are the top players. So there's only about between 19 and 20 different companies that actually take the lion's share of the entire market in terms of Bitcoin mining. And if you look at here, BitClub Network is fluctuating between 1 and 3%. So if you go on there today, I believe it's around 3% of the total Bitcoin production worldwide. And here we are, BitClub Network. So, we always hear this saying, right? Documentation beats conversation. Well, this is as documented as you can get. Nobody gets on here because they know somebody or they paid somebody to be on there. This is the blockchain, folks. This is the real deal. And so BitClub Network right now is positioned where they're actually mining, and they represent 3% of the total Bitcoin mining operations worldwide, and that's not a small thing. That's a huge thing. So it fluctuates between 1 and 3%. I believe today it is at 3%, so, or at least it was yesterday. I don't know what it is today, but yesterday we were at 3%. So, folks, lots of exciting things here, because what we're doing is real Bitcoin mining, and so that's powerful. So when you take a look at how this works, we have a system that allows you to participate in Bitcoin mining, but also participate in repurchasing new equipment so that you could perpetually keep earning money day after day after day after day. So as the math becomes more difficult and equipment gets old, it needs to be replaced with new technology. So we have mining pools that have shares up to 600 days, and it's repurchasing each and every day. So a portion of what you earn goes back to repurchasing new equipment, new computers, new technology to be able to mine better, faster, cheaper, more efficiently, and more profitable than all of our competitors. So the problem has been solved. Now, give me just a quick second, folks. Okay, so I believe a Bitcoin today is
$42.
$442.
Yeah. That's a
I'm going
10%
to see if
increase in a week.
that's nuts. So
Oh my!
I want to see if I'm going to
Oh, I
mute
see. Got it.
Will and Gwen. Uh, Will, are you there?
I'm right here, Davey. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Will. And for those of you that do not know Will Walker and Gwen Walker, I mean, this is a power couple. These are people that have been in the insurance world, in the financial world, venture capital world. I mean, just a very, very seasoned entrepreneur. And not only that, but he's built some massive organizations also in the home-based business arena. And so, Will, I'm just thrilled and honored to have you on this call here today. Can you just tell us your take on this 442 dollar Bitcoin, and what it was when you first signed up in the BitClub network, and why you think this is just an incredible opportunity?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Danny, and thank you too, Bishop. Both Danny and Bishop are accomplished international business, professionals, and certainly top entrepreneurs. So that's great, nice words from some great sources there for everybody. But, my 30 years in venture capital and building teams in insurance and securities, I've been also following Bitcoin for about 2 years. In fact, my last company was a major European, multi-billion-dollar European business solutions company, and I brought Bitcoin, or I didn't bring Bitcoin, but I alerted them 2 years ago that Bitcoin was starting to really get in with the Bank of Korea, um, uh, several of the major Hong Kong banks. They were all in the blockchain. They were all in Bitcoin and accepting Bitcoin, and that it was coming to Europe and the United States. This was going back 2 years ago. And I watched that progression go into now where it not only is everywhere, we can go to an ATM, bank ATM on some of the major banks in Asia and actually get Bitcoin or cash or exchange your Bitcoin account just like you would with any type of currency or ATM transaction here in this country. And I've watched it go into most of the major airports in Europe now, Rome, Paris, London. You can't go in and out without having a number of Bitcoin exchange machines there to do transactions for your cash, your Bitcoins, changing it either way, or making a payment, or even acquiring certain gift cards. So bottom line, Danny and Bishop, I tell you, I've watched this thing move, and now that it's accepted at over 100,000 retailers and establishments and merchants, vendors, doctors, you name it, here in this country, that's really what got my attention. And when I saw it move 2 weeks ago, I got in at $377, I believe was where I got into the mining shares, and now, of course, it's at 442. I'm thrilled about it. I mean, Gwen and I are both thrilled about it, and we're glad we did the founder share because we got a lot of Club Coin, which I know you're going to talk about, you and Bishop, in a few minutes, and that also is on the exchange. It's free trading. It's really a gift, and that has gone up dramatically from about 15 cents to about 40 cents. So we've seen tremendous appreciation. We know we're going to see more, and I'm advising a lot of my clients and people to take a very strong look at this now, because we do have about a 2-year window or less before it becomes mainstream here, just like it has in Asia and Europe. And you definitely don't want to kick yourself later and miss this window if you believe, like we do, that this is the future of currency. So back to you, Danny and Bishop. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We'll appreciate those insights, and we'll go ahead and continue on here with the presentation. Okay, folks, so let's take a look at what this all means for us. And we're going to take a number here. So if you have pen and paper, want to take some notes, because this is really what brings it home. You really need to understand this slide. If you forget everything else that we talked about today, you got to remember the slide. Put it into your core memories here, because at some point you're going to think back to this slide, think back to this dialogue, and two things are going to happen. You're going to be like, yup, I remember, and I jumped in, and oh my gosh, I made a ton of money. Or you're going to be like, yeah, I know some people that got into it, and I remember hearing about it, and no, I didn't jump in. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this has already played out. This is my conversation. I wish I would have jumped in 18 months ago. You already heard from Bishop. We knew about this. But once again, we didn't take advantage. But guess what? You have that advantage here again, first mover's advantage, because this opportunity took off in Asia. There's just nobody here in the United States, and this is really an opportunity for you to get involved in Bitcoin mining, where you don't need $500,000 or $1 million, or be somebody like Will Walker with who knows, who has thousands of people, venture capitalists that he could contact that have massive portfolios. So we're talking about the average person that can participate in a real mining pool that currently represents 3% of the mining capacity in the world. So that's not a small thing. So please pay attention, folks. If nothing else, pay attention to this slide. Let's say you take $3,600, okay, investment, you put it into stocks or Forex or commodities. Or choice number two, you buy Bitcoin and you hang on to it. You buy Bitcoin today at today's value and hang on to it for 3 years. Or over the next 3 years, instead of buying Bitcoin, you buy a mining contract. What that means is you're buying the mechanism that produces Bitcoin. You buying shares in these mining pools that has the latest and greatest technology to produce Bitcoin. So the way I like to think about this is kind of like you're at the point right now where you could choose to put your money in the market, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm in the market every single day. That's what I do. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. But not everybody can do that or have the time to do that. Second, you could just buy and hold and take a long position on Bitcoin, or you could buy the mining contract. So it's kind of like, do you want to have the goose that lays the golden eggs? If you had a choice today, and this was real, and you could choose between the goose that lays the golden eggs or the golden eggs, what would you choose? You can have one, but you can't have both. What would you pick? And so let's take a look at what that would look like. So if you turn a $36,000 in stocks or Forex and you doubled it, that'd be great. If you take it to 10,000, that'd even be better. Is that possible? Absolutely, but not likely for most people. Now let's say you buy Bitcoin, and you know what? I'm going to take a quick little moment here, guys, and I'm going to change this because I think this number should be 9, and I think this number should be 90. All right, because at today's prices, folks, what you have, if you took 36 and you round it off at 400, 4 goes into 36 9 times, unless my math is off. So you could purchase right around $400. I'm just going to use 400 as a price just to use round numbers. So let's say you bought 9 Bitcoin today and you just held on to them. Okay, whoops, let me adjust this number here. Sorry about that, folks. All right. And let's just go here one more time. All right, so let's say you buy and hold those 9 Bitcoins and you just hang on to them. Let's say in the next 3 years, those 9 Bitcoins now don't go up in value. They just stay at 400. How much would you have at the end of those 3 years? Well, you'd have the same amount, right? No loss, no gain, no big deal. But let's say that it goes to $1,000. Now remember, all the experts are saying that by the end of 2016, this is going to $1,000, okay? How much would you have? Well, you'd have $9,000. Now, if the price goes where Tim Draper, which they're calling him the Nostradamus of the financial world, he's saying that in the next 3 years, Bitcoin is going to go to 10,000. Now, that's not me saying it. That's not the BitClub Network saying. This is Tim Draper, folks. If you don't know who he is, go look him up on YouTube. He is heavily, heavily vested into Bitcoin. I think it's like $30 million or some crazy number. And so if the value does go up to 10,000 over the next 3 years, then your 9 Bitcoin just turned into 90K. Now, that would be a phenomenal thing. But what if they was half right and half wrong? Let's say it only went to 5,000. Well, you still have a tremendous amount, right? 45,000. So you turn 3,500 into 45,000. But let's say the value only goes to 1,000. Well, you turn 3,600 into 9,000, which you're still happy. But now let's take a look and see what would happen if you could actually do BitClub Network, buy the mining contracts, buy shares in the mining contracts, and produce 30, 50, or 70 Bitcoin over the next same 3-year period. Guess what? If it's at $10,000 in value, would you rather have 30, 50, or 70 coins, or would you rather have 9? Same money, right? It's still the same amount, 3,600, but if you buy the mechanism that produces the Bitcoin, over time, now you have more Bitcoins. So if the value does go to 10,000, I'd rather have 30 Bitcoins, wouldn't you? Absolutely. Now, what happens if the value only goes to 1,000? Well, now you have 1,000 times 30, or times 50, or times 70. So you have a lot more value. What if the price stays the same? Well, if the price stayed the same, if we bought 9 Bitcoin and held on to them, nothing happens. There's no profit, there's no loss. But if I buy the mining mechanism where over the next 3 years I have 30 Bitcoin, let's just take the least amount here, 30, and the value went to 400, well, 4 times 3, that's 12. So I turned in 3,500 to 12,000. So even if the value of the coin stayed at 400, because I have more Bitcoins, because I have the mining contracts, the mechanism that produces the Bitcoin, now I did a lot better. But let's say worst case scenario, the Bitcoin actually went down to $200. Well, check this out. If all you did was buy 9 Bitcoin today, and in 3 years Bitcoin goes to 200, well, you would have taken a loss of $1,800. But if you have 30 Bitcoins, 30 times 2, that's 6,000. You still earned a profit. Why? Because you have more Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying here? Even if the value went backwards to $100, you'd still break even. And that's why I'm trying to tell you that the smart money in Bitcoin is in producing the Bitcoin itself, because there's only 2 ways you can get it. You have to buy it from somebody that has it, or you got to get paid with somebody that has it, or third, you have to mine it yourself. And that's what BitClub Network is all about. So this is just a couple of the wallets that are out there, very popular. Coinbase. Coinbase wants to attract customers. I mean, they're doing a phenomenal way of doing it, because they're actually, it's the WIFM factor, right? WIFM, what's in it for me? It's a little acronym. Coinbase, if you buy your first $100 in Bitcoin, will actually give you $10 in Bitcoin. But the person that referred you will also get $10. So for all of you that want to buy your first $100 worth of Bitcoin, tell you what, you can see how easy it is. You can buy it with your ATM. You can tie it into your bank account. You can do whatever. They'll get you $10 of free Bitcoin to get started. So this is a great way. Plus, the person that refers you also gets $10. So anybody here that wants my referral link, just kidding, just get the referral link from the person that invited you, and you get started with your Bitcoins. All right. So if you don't have a bank account, no problem. There's coins.ph. Because Bitcoin is truly for everyone. So even for the unbanked, you could definitely withdraw cash from your Coins wallet through 450 participating ATMs nationwide. No cards needed, folks. Over in Africa, BitPesa is kind of taking up the lion's share of the market there. So all these places already transact. In Spain, there's 10,000 ATMs in Spain that transact in Bitcoin. So a lot of market acceptance, folks. Valuing Bitcoin. So these examples have to do with what the market caps are currently and what they could be like, or what the value of the Bitcoin would be if we tap into some of the industries that we're going to show here. Like, for example, gambling. The online poker market is about $4.8 billion. Total gambling is about $30 billion a year. If the market cap for Bitcoin was $30 billion, each Bitcoin would be worth $4,300. Amazon already takes Bitcoin, but if they only took exclusively Bitcoin, they're doing about $38 billion a year. That's actually an outdated number. That's closer to $100 billion. Bishop, you're more versed in the e-commerce world. You're kind of like an e-commerce expert. So what did Amazon do this last year here?
Yeah, one of the things that's really, really interesting as well is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, was so excited about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency that I was watching an interview with him, and he says he believes that it is absolutely going to be mainstream and it is the future of currency, and that he also wanted to highly invest and get involved in the cryptocurrency industry. And there was some talk of him actually trying to create his own cryptocurrency as well. But they have started taking on Bitcoin. And it's just going to be the future, you guys. It's the way that everything is happening. And Danny, I'm not sure if you realize too, here recently, some of you might know the musical artist Kanye West, but there's a gentleman by the name of Martin Shkreli, who is a huge guy in the pharmaceutical world. He actually made an offer to buy the album solely for $15 million, and he wanted to do it via Bitcoin. So that's a huge article, and I advise you guys to go to Google and look it up. But they made the transaction through Bitcoin. And when I saw that last week, it literally just I mean, the light bulbs are just going off like we are in the right place at the right time. So that was going to be a $50 million in Bitcoin purchase.
Wow, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
Wow. So gas stations, folks, credit card companies charge gas stations a 2% transaction fee. By eliminating credit card transaction fees, gas station owners could double their profits. U.S. consumes 65 billion gallons of gasoline per year at $3.60 per gallon average. This could be a $234 billion going through the Bitcoin economies per year. If the market cap for Bitcoin was 234 billion, each Bitcoin would be worth $34,400. That's huge. But the biggest one since international remittance, here we're in a huge melting pot. California is a perfect example of that. That's where I currently am. And there's a lot of people that just, they come here, they're first generation immigrants, they send back money to their families, and, they're just, this is a huge, huge part of Western Union's business and MoneyGram and those types of places. And, Western Union itself charges between 4 and 20% or more for some of the transactions, depending on which part of the world they're in. So if the market cap for Bitcoin was 300 billion, which that's what the global international remittance industry is, each Bitcoin would be worth $42,000. These are just 3 or 4 examples of where we can tap into Bitcoin and into different industries in commerce and really explode the value of the Bitcoin. Now, there's already ATMs. We have our own version of them. We call them BTMs, right, because they transact in Bitcoin. And they also transact with ClubCoin, which we haven't really talked a whole lot about ClubCoin today. And in fact, we may not have a lot of time to do so today. But BitClub has BTMs for cash in and cash out immediately on your transactions. Now, the BitClub network is real, folks. We've actually have done our due diligence. We know Joe, which is a master representative of the company. And we've been watching this for 18 months, but you can actually go do some of your own watching, do a little bit of research. There's a lot of good documentaries out there, like, for example, Bitcoin Magazine, some of the documentaries that you can find on Netflix or just online that really talk about what's going on, where it's been, where it currently is, and where it's positioned to go. And in our opinion, all the smart money agrees, and all of the wealthiest people are already here. So it's up to you, folks. To join BitClub, it's a one-time out-of-pocket commitment of $99. That's a one-time fee to become a member. And then you buy a mining pool. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, what we are offering is really the founder pool. This is really the best value, and I think it's our fiduciary responsibility to let you know that this is where you're going to earn the most, and really this is where you should be at. Now, we understand that people have different, circumstances and different things, but this is really the best way to get started. That's where you're going to earn the most, the quickest, and allows you to unlock all of the different pieces of the compensation plan. So, but for those of you that need a different path, we do allow people to get started for 500, 1,000, or 2,000, and then each one of these have different commission structure. For example, all of them have 600 days of mining, but the commission, 100% of the commissions, 50% are repurchased and 50% goes to commissions that you can take out all at one time, every day, any day, and you get paid in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out. And so this is really, really powerful, folks, because as you have this repurchase happening, this here allows you to buy into shares into new mining contracts as this increases and matures over time. And so you're not going to have the same returns as you're going to have over here in the founder pool, but it allows you to get in the game. Now, when you earn enough for when this can actually go to the 1,000 one, then it could do that automatically for you. Now, if you choose to refer people to the BitClub network, then there's also a referral program that will allow you to earn commission so you can fast track so that you can get to that $3,500 level. So the next one's 1,000, which is 60% commissions, 40% goes to the repurchase of new mining equipment. And then pool 3 is 2,000. And that gives you 70% commissions and 30% repurchase. 3,500 gives you a share in each one of the pools, and it's definitely the one that's going to mature the quickest and fastest and produce the most for you. So those are the three choices to get started. Now, folks, what I'd like to do right now is just show you a couple of things here that I think you're going to find are very, very useful information. And also, it's part of the due diligence that we've done in taking a look at this opportunity. And we wanted to make sure that we trusted, but we verified. And so one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to go over here to BitClub Bitcoin Exchange. And let me know when you can see my screen, Bishop, please.
Okay.
We're going to go to blockchain.info. And blockchain.info is not our website, folks. This is something that you could go research on your own. But this is what gives all the rankings in terms of who the top players are in the mining pools, who gets the lion's share of the mining pool blocks. And it also gives you all these other major links that give you some of the stuff that you saw on the webinar. Like, for example, mining pool stats. And these are all, this is, you know, the lion's share of the mining pools that are out there that dominate 100% of the Bitcoin block, Bitcoin mining. And if you look at this, the BitClub network has 3% of the total mining pool production. That's not a small thing, folks. This is huge. When we looked at this and we verified, actually, we verified this through a cryptographer, a third party, and a third party. So I actually confirmed this through two different sources because I have been looking at this for a while, trying to figure out how to make money with it. But if you're not liquid with 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, you're not going to get very far in the mining operations. But BitClub Network is the only place that you and I can get started with as little as $3,500 and three shares in those pools. Now, we even break it down even easier for people to get started, but really where you want to be is that $3,500 package. Now, one of the things that also fluctuates is everybody else's participation, but we just did a contract with Bitfury because as this new period of time comes of halving in July of 2016, people that don't have the quickest, fastest, more efficient, more profitable way of mining are going to go out of business. And all of these are all from China. But Bitfury actually has new technology that is cooled cryogenically, that is submersed in liquid, that's in Iceland, and to be able to solve the problem of being able to stay profitable in the mining world, because as the complexity increases and the scarcity of the halving periods start to hit, that's what's going to separate the men from the boys in the mining world. So Bitfury is one of the main capitalists in there, Sir Richard Branson, and BitClub Network actually did a deal with them to be able to use those computers and purchase those computers so that we could stay up to date with what's going on in the world with Bitcoin. So lots of good things are happening. And then real briefly, I'm going to talk just a little bit about ClubCoin, which is something that is pretty exciting. We'll go here to cryptocurrency and market capitalizations. This gives you the listings of all of the coins that are out there. And we're just going to search for ClubCoin, which is our own cryptocurrency. Now, this isn't something you can purchase. This is something we give away to everybody that comes in with a founder's package. Now, right now, Will said it was about 50 cents. It's gone up a little bit more to 55 cents. When we got involved, it was at 15 cents. So this we can sell today. So think about this for a second. When you get involved with us, you actually have for every $5, right, you get one Bitcoin. Excuse me, well, you get one Club Coin, which those are for free. But when you buy the Founders package, you actually get an extra 1,500 Club Coins. Now, you can't get them anywhere else. We are the only ones that have. That's ClubCoin. That's our own cryptocurrency. And so it's already being transacted on the open market, and it currently has a value of 55 cents. So that gives a lot of value to this program. So folks, what we're going to do right now is we're going to actually wrap it up. We have something that's incredible. We have a real cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, and that's what the foundation of everything that we do is in Bitcoin mining. So what I'd like to do before we go further is just do a quick pause, folks, because we do have a referral program, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time before we jump into that. So what we have right now, I think would be is a perfect opportunity to answer any questions that you might have that are related to Bitcoin or Bitcoin mining. So if anybody has any questions, please either raise your hand or we could come in and mute you or put a chat on the chat box and just ask your questions so that we can address them while we're on here on the webinar. Any questions, folks? Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions here. So Bishop, what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn it over to you, my friend. And if you could go through this compensation structure, that'd be great. I'm going to change the presenter. Do you have the presentation, or do you want me to do the changing for you?
Yeah, I don't have it on this computer.
I'm going to give you keyboard and mouse controls. So now you should be able to control my slides.
Okay, perfect. So with this compensation plan, this rewards plan, you guys, is absolutely a massive, massive rewards plan. And what they've put together, I think, is very genius because of the way that it's going to really benefit people and accelerate their process towards success. And so what we're talking about here is we have a dual team or a binary, as some of you know them as a binary, where you're going to build and manage and override two sales teams, a left sales team and a right sales team. And so when you sign up for the $99 position worth of Bitcoin, that's when you'll actually receive a position in the binary structure. Okay, so now this position isn't actually activated until you purchase one of the packages that Danny showed you before, like the founders package for 3,500. So the total would be 3,600. So for every 500 full shares sold, your binary tree will receive 3 credits. Now, one of the things that we want to really talk about here is the cycles. 15 credits left and 15 credits right equals 1 cycle. And right now, you guys, 1 cycle is worth $200 of Bitcoin. So you get paid $200. And this happens every single day. We get paid in real time. And so for every 1,000 full shares sold, you'll receive 6 credits. So for example, if you bring someone on and they get the $500 package on your left, and someone on the right hand side comes on to your team and they get the $500 package, that's basically 6 credits right there. It's 3 credits left, 3 credits right. And so you would actually, once you get to 15 credits, you'll cycle, and that's $200. Okay. Now, the cycles per day are limited and based on your rank. So if you're a miner, you can actually cycle 4 times a day. Okay, so that's $800 a day that you can earn through the dual team binary, all the way up to Monster Builder, which is 10 cycles a day, which is basically you can start earning $2,000 a day. And what's that total, Danny? $2,000 a day. We figured it out the other day.
60,000.
It comes up to $60,000 a month that you can make just in our binary dual team alone. 60.
Now remember, there's a key component here, Bishop, is that there's no breaks, there's no holidays, there's no weekends, there's no anything. You're mining every day, and whatever you do, you get paid in real time. You get paid every single day. And not only that, you can take it out every single day with no limitations.
Absolutely. And the taking it out is a very, very important aspect here, and something that we looked at very closely. So this isn't virtual money. Some of you might have been in those programs where everyone's saying they're making all this money, but it's virtual money. They're not ever actually accessing it. That's not what this is. You can literally take your money out every single day with this program. And like Danny said, there's no weekends, there's no holidays. Every day you get paid. And every day that you cycle, that money shows up in your back office and you can pull it out immediately. And so here we also have matching bonus. So what's really cool about this, you guys, I love matching bonuses, right? Because it creates a lot of leverage and a lot of synergy. And so here for each $200 cycle paid, there's another $80 paid to the upline through a maximum of 8 levels. And one of the things I love about this is that you do not need to qualify for the first level because all members automatically begin at the rank of miner. Okay, so you can see here at level 1, The payout is $10 when you're at the minor rank, right? Level 1 and level 2, you're going to get $10. Once you become a builder, all the way to pro builder. So when you're at one of the builder ranks, it's another $10 all the way through to level 6. And then once you become a master builder, you access level 7 and 8, and you're getting $10. And that's a total match of $80 you guys are earning on your team as it's growing. And that's very, very exciting. And now the rank system here is very, very cool. And I'm going to go through this really quick because some people don't really understand all this. And you're going to earn and learn at the same time. So here at the builder level, when you sponsor 5 people and you have a total volume of 10,000, that's when you become a builder. Okay, so sponsor 5 minors that each have sponsored 2 minors and have at least 10,000 in total enrollment tree volume. Then you become a builder. Pro builder, pretty much the same thing. You need to have a total of 3 builders underneath your tree, and you need to have a total of 50,000 in volume. Then you move up to pro builder all the way to monster builder, which is 3 master builders underneath you and 2 million in total enrollment tree volume. Okay, but you can see there the monthly that can come in there, the monthly duration. Do I have control, Danny, or let me see. Oh, that's you moving it. Okay, no wonder. Okay, now the level up. I actually love level ups, and I've worked on level ups before, and they work very, very well in some situations. But one of the things that's really exciting here with our level up is that it's to infinity. Level up team infinity bonus. The first 2 people you enroll will be placed on team number 1, and you get 5% there. So you earn 10% on whatever these team members purchase. So for example, if Danny came aboard and I sponsored Danny and he got the $500 pack, that would instantly be $50 in my pocket, right? I get 10% of whatever he purchases for my first 2 people. The commission is paid on full shares as well as partial shares purchased from the mining pools. So as they're mining every single day, right? Because remember, we all get paid every day. We're mining every single day, and we actually get a percentage of what everyone is making every single day as well in our organizations. So everyone who enrolls below these 2 people, Danny and Will, let's say I've put Danny on my left, Will on my right, everyone who enrolls below these 2 people will level up to the qualified upline members, but will land in your binary left and right team. Okay, so that's the matching bonus there for the first 2 levels, and we have more levels as you'll see here as we move throughout. Danny's not letting me switch the
Okay, no problem. Here you go.
yeah, I'm trying to do it on my end, but it's not doing it. So level up team infinity bonus. So these are for your 3, 4, and 5 people that you personally enroll into your PET. Now here, you're going to get 6% on whatever these members purchase. And again, this commission is paid in full shares. But you also earn 1% level up bonus on all the first 2 personals through infinity. Through infinity, you guys. So this means I bring on Gwen, Stan, and Terry here for 3, 4, and 5. Not only do I get their 6%, but everything that their team does on their first 2 personals, I'm also going to get 1% on their purchases as well. So that starts adding up very, very quickly here. And then also 6, 7, and 8. Pretty much the same thing, you guys, as you guys can kind of see how the structure is working here. You're going to get 7% there. Bless you, Danny. 7% there, and you're going to earn 15% on whatever these 3 members purchase, and then 2% on the level up bonus on all their first 2. So that's literally 6 people that you're also going to get 2% on, and then all the people below them, you're looking at another 1% on their 3rd, 4th, and 5th personally sponsored people through infinity. And 1% adds up. You know, sir. Right now, Paul Getty, who was the first billionaire in America, said, I'd rather make 1% on 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. And that's why he became a billionaire. America's first billionaire, actually, is because he understood the power of 1% and the power of leverage. And so here on your 9th person, same thing. You're going to get another percent. So instead of 7, you're going to get 8% on whatever they purchase, 3% on their first 2 people that they bring on to the organization. And then you're also going to earn 2% level up bonus on their 3rd, 4th, and 5th person that they bring in, and 1% again on 6th, 7th, and 8th personals, all the way down to infinity. And of course, you know, the math on this is a little complicated for some people, but it's very, very massive. Now, just to recap real quick, on the first level, why I said I loved this particular level up is because even though those first two people they level up to the upline, the top qualified upline, they still go into your binary structure. And I've worked with programs where that doesn't happen. You just lose those two people altogether. Here, they still stay in your structure. So that's something that's very, very important and smart that they did.
And if I could just add a little bit to that,
Hmm.
Bishop, is that those two people, if they're builders, they could still represent in your organization 60,000. So let's say you did nothing else and only brought in two people, and they took off and took this thing to the moon. You'd still make $60,000 a month once you went through the ranks and the whole thing. So, but worst case scenario, if you never ranked up and you only brought two people total, then you'd still be right around $24,000 a month in income. And if you could do that, you're flirting with $250,000 a year, and you could basically live just about any zip code that you want to, and you'd be in the top 2% of money makers around the world.
Absolutely. And in fact, there's a good friend of mine just 3 years ago got involved in an organization that had kind of the same structure here in terms of their binary and their level up. And this gentleman had lost his home, lost his car, everything, and he took another chance on an opportunity. And he had actually just gotten divorced. And within the first month, because he brought on two key people, just like Danny is saying, and in that first month, he made $100,000, and he became a millionaire within 5.5 months with this organization, all the way down from everything. He had just lost his house 2 months prior to this, but he identified the right people, and his team just exploded. So absolutely. So here we have the generational bonuses where you get full shares. So generation one, you're going to get 1% on your team four. Of a team four, you're going to get 1%. So when one person personally sponsors members in your team four enrollments, their ninth person and beyond, that you're going to get 1% on every single purchase. And here's the key, you guys, is the repurchase made on all of these members. Remember, with this system, it's automatically repurchasing, right? We're all automatically repurchasing. So you're going to get 1% on that all the way to infinity as well. And generation two, you're going to get 0.5%. Generation three, you're going to get 0.5% as well. And believe me, these start adding up on the repurchases that are going to be happening throughout your organization automatically. Level up bonus number 4 here is the repurchase of partial shares. So level up team number 1, repurchase of partial shares. The first two members you personally enroll are placed in your team 1 level up, and you'll earn a 10% bonus on all repurchases they make forever. Forever. You're going to be able to get this. You're going to see this coming into your back office on all these partial shares. And then the same thing on your level up team 2, which is 3, 4, and 5 that you brought in. You'll receive 2% level up bonus on all their first two personally sponsored people forever. Same thing here, level up 3 is kind of the same thing. As you're going to get 5% on this one. Level up team number 4, which is your ninth person and beyond. You're looking at 18% bonus on all of their purchases forever. And you know what's really cool here, Danny, is that there's way more people there, right? Because you're now talking about you're on here on your ninth person beyond. That's when your organizations really start growing and taking off, and you're going to receive 18% on all of their purchases. Also, an 8% level up bonus on all their first two personally sponsored people, and all of their two people personally sponsored through infinity. So this is just massive, you guys, and these numbers just get so big. We don't want to just, keep going through all of these little fine prints here, but believe me, it starts adding up very, very, very quickly. And
Yeah,
generation.
and I think you're so right, Bishop, because I mean, you and I, we've been looking at comp plans for a long time, and I got to tell you guys that a lot of this is sometimes kind of foreign to you, and I always like to reverse engineer and everything. Once I start, I'll just go very simply, just go get two and help them get there too, and then reverse engineer all of this, and it's easier to figure out the math. Once you earn the commissions, the math is easy.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why, sometimes when I look at this, and I'm explaining it to people, I can see their eyes kind of glaze over because people don't completely understand it. But believe me, once those commissions start hitting, you're going to still want to cash it out. I don't think anyone here is going to say, you know what, I'm not going to cash this out to my bank account until I understand it. So I believe you're all going to be pleasantly surprised and happy. Now, why did we choose network marketing? Well, number one, network marketing is one of the most powerful vehicles to get your brand, product, or service out there to the masses. And also, you're leveraging relationships. There's nothing more powerful than that. So if Danny calls me and he says, Bishop, go check out this restaurant, Mastro's, right? It's gonna make me want to go check out this restaurant more than if I saw a billboard. And it's $167 billion industry, you guys, is the network marketing industry. So you're going to get more bang for your buck here, so to speak, and things grow virally faster, especially now with social media. This is why we chose this vehicle, because it's a relationship type of industry. And I love this from Henry Ford. It is well that the people of the nation do not understand our banking system and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. And, that statement, if you really dissect it, is very powerful. He's basically saying, if people really understood what was going on right now in our banking system, they would revolt, right? Because if you understood that you go to your bank, you give them all this money, they can go do whatever they want with it, right? They're doing all these investments and they're making tons of money. They're buying Bitcoin and doing all these things, but you get such a small percentage at the end of the year. And one of the things that's crazy right now, Danny, is in some countries right now, they're making it harder and harder for you to even access or withdraw your own money. I saw a report the other day, and this gentleman was literally crying because they were making him fill out all of these forms and questioning him on why he wanted his own money. He was trying to take out, I think, $6,000 overseas to take care of some stuff for his mom, and he literally had to go get letters from the doctors and everything. And he's like, I don't understand what's going on. This is my own money. And so here we want to educate you to what's really going on, because right now there's a transfer of wealth that's happening. And the middle class, as you guys know, is disappearing very quickly. But why are some people in that 1%? Is because they have this information that the majority of people do not have. And right now, you guys just saw something that is absolutely powerful, something that if you leverage it and get involved, can change your family situation for generations to come. And so I look forward to working with every single one of you. And Danny, I'll go ahead and let you close it out.
Well, thank you so much, Bishop, for that great compound explanation and sharing your thoughts with us, because you've been very, very successful in the businesses that you've been involved with, and you're very highly respected. So, folks, you heard it. You heard it from some of the top leadership out there in the network marketing world. This is a phenomenal opportunity, but I want everybody that wants to come in here to really understand that any type of opportunity has risk. And I think it would be remiss for us not to say that, because even though this is all poised and positioned and all the experts say that this is going to go up in value, it's still a currency, and the same risks apply to any type of financial instrument or any currency that's out there. And I just want to make sure that we're very responsible in making sure that you understand there are risks in any type of opportunity. Now, I'm a high risk kind of person, but I'm not a risky person. So if it's a calculated risk and it makes sense and I do my due diligence, then I want to jump on board. So I encourage every one of you to do the exact same thing and trust and verify, folks, because that's so important. That's what we did, and it took us 18 months to verify. It took us 18 months to really look at this. And then after we did that, we still went to cryptographers. We still went to different third-party resources to make sure that what we were being presented and what we were going to share was a calculated risk, which is a very significant difference than something that's risky. So I want to wrap it up with that, folks. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time on a Saturday to be on this presentation. I do appreciate that you are here. And if there's any last questions here, I'd like to just add that here. If there's any quick questions,
Marissa
we have
says
maybe
that
about
she
5 minutes.
Marissa says that she will call me in a couple of hours. Awesome, Marissa. That sounds good. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you, thank you. And you know what? We did not record this one. I'm so sorry for that. We just forgot to hit the record button at the beginning
I
of the
recorded it.
presentation. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, great, great. Thank you so, thank you so much, Bishop. Appreciate that. All right, guys, so it is a recorded presentation. So once again, thank you so much for being on here, and have a phenomenal weekend, and we'll send out the webinar schedule and send out this recording as soon as it renders. Thank you, and God bless.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.